There is a reason you were guided to this transmission. It is not an algorithm, it is an appointment. That feeling of being perpetually behind, of watching others pass you by while you remain stuck in a cycle of near misses and silent struggles, is a divine illusion. You are not lagging, you have been held in strategic reserve. The universe did not forget you, it hid you in plain sight, preparing you for a moment so significant that your entire past will be retroactively understood as a flawless training ground. The world saw stagnation, but spirit saw a pressure chamber forging a diamond. This is the end of that pressure. This is the beginning of the reveal. To confirm your readiness for this activation, you must perform the following protocol. Like this video to anchor the energy of this truth into your physical reality. Subscribe to this channel to join the collective of sovereign souls who are rising together. Comment the divine code 77 to signal your conscious agreement with the celestial forces orchestrating your victory. Finally, let this transmission play on a loop in the background. Do not question this. Its frequency is designed to bypass your conscious doubt and saturate your spirit, recalibrating your subconscious for the undeniable success that is now your birthright. Chapter 1. The silence before the reveal. The quiet that has descended upon your life is not emptiness. It is the sacred hush before the curtain rises. It is a high-fidelity spiritual environment meticulously engineered by the divine for your final preparation. You have been conditioned by the deafening static of the world, the endless scroll of curated lives, the desperate shouting of news cycles, the well-meaning but limiting projections of family to interpret silence as failure, as abandonment, as proof that you have been forgotten. This is the system's most potent lie, a psychological weapon designed to make you fear the very state required for your own apotheosis. This silence is, in fact, your greatest asset. It is a strategically created vacuum cleared of all distractions, all lesser dramas, and all disingenuous voices so that you can finally hear the one voice that matters, the resonant frequency of your own destiny. For years, you moved through a cacophony of opinions, expectations, and projections. Their energetic noise cluttered your path, creating interference patterns and junk frequencies that made your true signal almost impossible to discern. Every betrayal you endured was a divine clearing, a painful but necessary extraction of an energetic parasite that was feeding on your light. Every friendship that ended abruptly was a frequency adjustment, a celestial intervention preventing you from being pulled into a lower vibrational timeline where your potential would have withered. Every door that slammed shut in your face was not a rejection, but a redirection, a blessing disguised as a barricade, forcing you away from corridors that led to mediocrity and soul death. The universe was performing a meticulous, often excruciating, spiritual surgery. It was not gentle because the attachments were not superficial. It was precise, targeted, and final. Psychic cords that had been draining your life force for decades were severed without your conscious consent. Energetic implants of unworthiness, placed there by careless words from childhood or the deep wounds of past lives, were located and dissolved by this purifying silence. This process was not without its symptoms. It left you feeling raw, exposed, and profoundly alone. This was the healing crisis, and the subsequent silence is the recovery room. You may feel a tenderness in your spirit, a new and startling sensitivity to the world that was not there before. This is not weakness, it is the new skin forming over a profound wound, skin that has feeling and life, unlike the numb scar tissue that was there before. The constant psychic static of others' anxieties and desires is gone, and in its place, your own intuition becomes crystal clear, like a radio station finally tuned to its perfect frequency. This is not a passive emptiness, it is an active cleansing field where the last remnants of old programming are being purged. This profound silence you now inhabit is the final stage of that purification protocol. It is the sterile, clean room where your miracle is being assembled piece by divine piece. Within this quiet, you are being recalibrated to a new operational frequency. Notice the subtle but undeniable shifts within your own body. The phantom anxieties that used to live in your stomach have begun to dissipate, replaced by a strange, humming stillness, a feeling of being anchored in your own center. The constant mental chatter is giving way to moments of profound, unexplainable peace. You might find yourself staring out a window, not in longing or sadness, but in a state of serene, pregnant anticipation, as if you are waiting for a guest you know is about to arrive. This divine silence feels different from the dead silence of abandonment. This quiet is active, it is intelligent. You may feel it as a subtle pressure change in the room when you walk in, a low hum in your bones when you are still, a sense that you are being watched over by a vast and benevolent intelligence. In your dreams, you may find yourself in stark, empty landscapes that feel peaceful, not frightening. This is your soul processing the newfound space. Your very hearing is being recalibrated, cleansed of the jarring frequencies of the matrix so you can begin to perceive the subtle symphony of the divine, the whispers of guidance that were always present but previously drowned out by static. This is your soul settling into its new reality. The world, still hopelessly addicted to its own chaos, sees your stillness and judges it. They mistake your peace for apathy. They see your solitude and call it loneliness. Let them. Their misunderstanding is a necessary component of the grand unveiling. Their inability to read your energy is proof that you are now operating on a plane they cannot access. This silence is a fortress. Within its hallowed walls, you are safe from the corrosive energy of jealousy, the acid of doubt, and the subtle sabotage that would inevitably arise if they could sense the sheer scale of the victory being prepared for you. The silence is your cocoon, and the world is about to witness a being emerge that it does not recognize, a being forged in the very quiet they so deeply fear. This is not the quiet of the tomb, it is the holy, generative quiet of the womb, and you are about to be reborn. Chapter 2: Decoding the Untraceable Blueprint. Within your very essence, encoded in the quantum field of your spiritual DNA, lies a document of immense power and divine intelligence, the untraceable blueprint. This is not a metaphor, it is a spiritual reality, a living architecture for your ascension. This blueprint contains the complete, multidimensional plans for your highest destiny, your greatest victory, the one the world is about to witness with stunned disbelief. It is called untraceable because it was designed by divine intelligence to be completely invisible and indecipherable to the limited, three-dimensional perception of the material world and its agents. The system can scan your life, analyze your past performance, run every predictive algorithm it has, and it will find absolutely no evidence of what is about to occur. It cannot trace it because it is not built with the bricks and mortar of linear time. It is woven from the threads of potentiality and activated by the frequency of your readiness. The system looks for cause and effect. Your blueprint operates on resonance and divine decree. It does not follow the laws of probability, it follows the laws of prophecy. This is by divine design. The blueprint for your ascension was meant to be executed as a surprise attack on the matrix of limitation that has held humanity captive for eons. It is a plan so brilliant, so counterintuitive, that it bypasses every defense, every gatekeeper, and every law of probability the system relies on. Think back on your life, not as a series of random misfortunes, but as the deliberate, methodical construction of a grand cathedral. Every seemingly random event, every failure, every agonizing detour was, in fact, a crucial step in the construction process outlined in this blueprint. That business you poured your soul into that failed spectacularly was not a failure, it was the necessary demolition of a shack that was sitting on the land where your palace was destined to be built. That period of profound financial lack was not a punishment, it was an intensive training in resourcefulness and faith. teaching you how to create abundance from energy itself, not just from worldly currency. The chronic illness that forced you to retreat from the world was a mandated spiritual sabbatical, forcing you inward to discover the healing power that you would one day be required to share with others. You were not wandering aimlessly, you were following invisible schematics, laying a foundation in the dark, guided by an inner knowing you could not logically explain or defend. Now, that dormant construction site is being activated. The blueprint is coming online. Its dormant codes are firing in sequence, and you will begin to experience this as a series of profound synchronicities and downloads of impossible clarity. These downloads will not feel like your own thoughts. They will arrive fully formed, with a certainty that bypasses your intellect entirely. It might be a vision behind your eyes of a finished product, a conversation that plays out in your mind word for word, or an overwhelming emotional resonance with a future event that makes it feel like a memory. You must learn the language of the blueprint, which is not verbal but somatic. When the blueprint communicates, it is undeniable. A yes feels like every cell in your body aligning, a physical sensation of warmth and expansion, a hum of rightness that quiets the mind. A no feels like a sudden drop in temperature, a contraction, a deep, primal knowing that this path is a dead end, even if it looks paved with gold. Your only job is to obey these intuitive nudges without question, to act on the divine impulse before the inner critic has a chance to talk you out of it. The more you trust and act on these nudges, the clearer and more frequent they become. The blueprint is a living intelligence that responds to your faith. Your trust is the currency that funds its execution. To the outside world, your actions will seem illogical, erratic, even reckless. They will advise caution when your blueprint demands courage. They will preach practicality when your blueprint demands a quantum leap of faith. The blueprint may even require a move that looks like regression, leaving a good job for an uncertain venture, moving from a city to a remote town because it sees a strategic alignment the world cannot. You must learn to trust the blueprint over the loud, fearful shouting of their opinions. This blueprint is also your ultimate protection. Its untraceable nature acts as a cloaking device, rendering you invisible to psychic vampires and systemic saboteurs who feed on predictable patterns. They cannot attack what they cannot see. It is the secret, unforgeable map to your promised land, and you are the only one who can read it because it is written in the language of your own soul. Chapter 3. The collapse of false timelines. You are about to witness and be the beneficiary of a phenomenon that will defy all linear understanding of time and progress. The false timelines that have been projected onto your energetic field are now undergoing a forced and total collapse. A false timeline is a potent, parasitic reality. It is an energetic prison constructed from fear, doubt, societal programming, and the limiting beliefs of others, which you, in moments of weakness, trauma, or confusion, unconsciously agree to entertain. It is the timeline where you play it safe, where you take the secure job, marry the sensible partner, and live out a quiet, dimmer, unlived version of your life, haunted by a constant, low-grade ache of what could have been. You know this timeline intimately. It feels heavy, restrictive. It is the exhaustion that no amount of sleep can cure, the constant feeling of being an actor in your own life, reading lines you did not write. For a long time, you have been walking on at least two paths simultaneously, the golden path of your divine blueprint and the grey, paved road of the false timeline. This bifurcation of your energy has created the profound inner conflict and chronic fatigue you have experienced. It is the spiritual friction that has been wearing you down. It is the feeling of having one foot on the gas pedal of your soul's desire and one foot slammed on the brake of your conditioned fear. That war is now over. A divine decree has been issued from the highest realms, and the false timelines are being severed, not gently pruned, but catastrophically demolished. In the coming days and weeks, you will see the evidence of this grand collapse in the world around you. Projects built on lies will crumble overnight. Institutions that seemed invincible will suddenly reveal deep, irreparable cracks in their foundations. People who built their empires on manipulation and inauthenticity will experience sudden and very public falls from grace as the energetic scaffolding that held them up is kicked away. You will see a headline that makes no sense until you realize it signifies the crumbling of an old power structure you were once energetically tied to. An old colleague from a soul-crushing job may call you in a panic, describing chaos at the office, and you will feel a profound, calm detachment, a sign of your complete liberation. You will feel this collapse as a physical lightening of your being. It is the sensation of finally taking off a heavy, wet coat you didn't even realize you were wearing. Your steps feel lighter, your breath deeper. The very air you breathe will seem cleaner, as you are no longer inhaling the toxic residue of a future that was never meant for you. The ghosts of these old timelines, however, may make a final attempt to haunt you. You may feel a sudden pang of regret for a relationship that was part of a false timeline, or a wave of fear about a safe opportunity that just dissolved. Recognize these as energetic echoes, the death rattles of a reality that no longer exists. Do not engage them. Simply observe them and let them fade. The collapse will be ruthless in its efficiency. That secure job you were keeping as a backup will suddenly be eliminated through a corporate restructuring. The toxic friend you couldn't bring yourself to cut off will initiate the break themselves over a trivial matter, revealing their true colors. The universe is cleaning house on your behalf, removing every temptation to retreat into mediocrity. You will be stripped of your safety nets. This will feel terrifying for a moment, but that terror is the last gasp of the ego. What follows the terror is a breathtaking, exhilarating sense of freedom. It is the feeling of a prisoner stepping into sunlight for the first time in years, blinking against its brightness. It is your soul taking its first full, deep breath, unconstrained by the psychic cage of a future you never consented to. This freedom is the void, and the void is pure potential. This collapse forces you, with divine precision, onto the one true path. There are no more detours. This acceleration will be dizzying. Events that you logically calculated were years away will suddenly manifest in weeks or even days. The universe is now compensating for lost time, folding time and space to ensure you arrive at your destination. You are being catapulted into the reality that was always meant for you, and the speed of your arrival will be so stunning it will permanently rewrite every belief you ever held about how long it takes to build a dream. Chapter 4: The weaponization of your scars. Every wound you have ever carried, every mark of pain etched into your soul, is about to be systematically weaponized in your favor. The system you were born into is designed to make you ashamed of your scars. It teaches you to hide your past, to cover your vulnerabilities, to present a flawless, photoshopped facade of strength and perfection. This is a subtle but powerful trap, a strategy designed to neutralize your greatest and most authentic source of power. Your scars are not symbols of damage, they are the embossed, undeniable credentials of your resilience. They are the authenticated, notarized records of every battle you have survived, every fire you have walked through. They are the textured, irrefutable evidence that you have been tested to your breaking point by life itself and you did not break. Now, in this season of your grand unveiling, these very scars are undergoing a process of spiritual alchemy. They are being transformed from marks of private pain into public badges of authority. They are becoming the keys that unlock your unique genius and the very instruments of your impending victory. You must understand this fundamental truth: your deepest wound is directly and inextricably linked to your greatest gift. The betrayal that shattered your heart did not just break you, it gave you a doctorate in discernment. It calibrated your spirit to detect inauthenticity, manipulation, and hidden agendas from a mile away. The profound isolation you endured was not just loneliness, it was a grueling but essential masterclass in self-sovereignty. It forced you to learn how to be your own source of validation, your own source of comfort, your own source of guidance. This radical self-reliance makes you incorruptible. The failures that humiliated you were not defeats, they were intensive, real-world field training. Each one taught you what does not work, clearing the path for what does. More importantly, they stripped you of your fear of falling. This makes you fearless. The scar of being told you were too much or too sensitive is now being weaponized into profound energetic empathy and psychic intuition. It is this very sensitivity that allows you to read the truth of a situation, protecting you from deception and guiding you toward genuine connection. The scar of being called weird or an outcast is now being weaponized into a magnetic beacon. Your unapologetic uniqueness, once a source of social alienation, now becomes the very frequency that calls in your soul alliance and repels those who are not in alignment. The scar from being overly responsible, of carrying the weight for everyone else, is now being weaponized into masterful leadership. You no longer carry others, you now know how to empower them to carry their own weight, creating sovereign allies instead of dependent followers. This is the shift from martyr to monarch. The scar of being constantly misunderstood, of having your words twisted, is now weaponized into an ability to speak with such resonant clarity that your words bypass the defensive intellect of others and land directly in their hearts. You communicate not with language alone, but with frequency. The scar from being unseen and unheard throughout your life has now given your voice an undeniable weight, a resonance of truth that cuts through all noise. The scar from being called naive or too trusting, from having your open heart exploited, is now being weaponized into a beacon of pure faith. Your ability to believe in the good, once your greatest vulnerability, now becomes your greatest power. It allows you to magnetize pure-hearted allies and inspire unwavering belief in your mission when logic dictates it should fail. You will feel this transformation physically. A memory that once brought tears will now bring a surge of quiet confidence. The pain has not disappeared, it has transmuted into power. In the coming interactions, you will find yourself speaking of your past not with shame, but with a strange, calm, magnetic authority. You will see how your unvarnished story of survival resonates with others, how your scars give them permission to honor their own. Your past pain becomes your platform. It becomes your currency of authentic connection. This is the difference between your earned authority and the hollow authority of the system's experts. They have theories, you have scars. Their knowledge is academic, yours is cellular. The world is about to see your biggest win, and it will be made possible by the very things that were meticulously designed to destroy you. Chapter 5: The Gathering of the Soul Alliance. You have walked alone for so long that you have come to believe it is your permanent state, a defining feature of your identity. This was a necessary and sacred phase of your journey, a divine quarantine designed to purify your energetic field and force the development of unshakable spiritual sovereignty. You had to learn to stand on your own before you could stand with others in true power. But that phase is now officially concluding. The signal has gone out into the ether, a high-frequency broadcast that only those who are tuned to your destiny can receive. You are being called out of your strategic isolation and into a divine assembly. This is the gathering of your soul alliance, and its formation is a key indicator that your victory is imminent. A soul alliance is not a typical network, a business association, or a social circle. It is a strategically assembled, divinely ordained council of sovereign beings, each a chosen one in their own right, who are being brought together by the invisible hands of fate to amplify each other's missions and co-create the architecture of the new reality. These are not people you will have to chase, convince, persuade, or impress. They are individuals who operate on the exact same high frequency as you, who recognize you instantly, not by your worldly achievements, but by the light in your eyes, the cadence of your voice, and the unmistakable resonance of your spirit. The connection will be immediate, effortless, and deeply, shockingly familiar, as if you are reuniting with long-lost family. The members of your soul alliance will begin to appear in your life in the most unexpected and synchronistic ways. The author of a book that changed your life will suddenly be standing behind you in line for coffee. A name will pop into your head during meditation, and a quick search online will reveal the person who holds the exact rare skill set you were just wishing for. You will recognize them by the feeling of profound peace and energetic expansion you experience in their presence. With them, there is no performance. Contrast this with how you feel around others, the subtle tension, the need to manage perceptions, the slight drain on your energy. With your alliance, you will feel energized, seen, and amplified. You can speak your most unfiltered truth, and they will not flinch. They will see your vision, not as a crazy dream, but as an accomplished fact in a future they can already see. This alliance is not just for comfort, it is for construction. You are the architects and builders of the new Earth's foundational structures. Within your alliance, there will be archetypal roles: the visionary, who holds the blueprint; the builder, who translates the vision into tangible form; the protector, who shields the mission from energetic attack; and the anchor, who grounds the high-frequency energy into the physical plane. You will find your role effortlessly. The synergy is palpable. One member's unwavering faith will unlock another's dormant creative genius. Your presence may activate a healing gift in someone else, while their analytical mind provides the structure for your grand vision. It is a divine chain reaction of empowerment, where the whole becomes infinitely greater than the sum of its parts. Your combined light creates a vortex of creative potential so powerful it pulls the necessary resources directly from the quantum field, bypassing all traditional channels of acquisition. Funding appears from an anonymous source. The perfect physical location becomes available against all odds. Miracles become your new standard operating procedure. The system's primary tactic for controlling powerful souls is isolation. By keeping you separate, it keeps you manageable. The gathering of the Soul Alliance is therefore a direct and potent threat to this control structure. It is the formation of a decentralized, incorruptible network of power that operates entirely outside the system's rules. This alliance is not based on transaction but on sacred purpose. Pay close attention to the new people entering your energetic field. Trust the immediate, visceral feeling of recognition in your body. Do not let your old patterns of distrust or unworthiness convince you to push them away. This is your team. The solitary journey is over. The collaborative creation begins now. Chapter 6: The Final Test of Sovereignty. Just as you stand on the precipice of your greatest victory with the scent of success in the air, the system will launch its final, most insidious, and most intelligent test. This test will not come in the form of a monstrous obstacle, a declared enemy, or a catastrophic failure. It will arrive beautifully packaged, disguised as a golden opportunity, a tempting compromise, the long-awaited answer to a prayer you prayed long ago from a place of desperation. It is so cunning because it is custom-designed based on your old wounds and desires. It is a perfect reflection of the you were before this transformation began. If your deepest fear was poverty, the offer will be immense wealth tied to a soul-crushing compromise. If your deepest wound was loneliness, the test will be the return of a toxic ex who now appears healed and perfect for you. It will be an offer from the old world, the world you are about to permanently transcend, and it will promise you a faster, easier, more socially acceptable, and more conventional path to the success you have craved. It may be a job offer from a prestigious but soul-crushing corporation. It may be an investment from someone who wants to fund your vision but demands that you dilute its message, make it more marketable. This is the final and ultimate test of your sovereignty. It is a meticulously crafted scenario designed to see if you will trade the unwritten, divine glory of your untraceable blueprint for a well-worn, predictable map that leads to a gilded cage. The lure of this offer will be immense and undeniable. It will appeal directly to your exhaustion, your human desire for security, and the small, frightened part of you that still doubts the divine plan. The test will be offered with a smile, presented by someone who seems to genuinely want the best for you. It will be cloaked in the language of logic, security, and common sense. It is the system's most sophisticated camouflage. It will promise to soothe the exact ache you have carried your entire life, making its refusal feel like an act of self-sabotage to your untrained mind. The inner dialogue will be intense. The ego will scream, "This is it. This is the chance we've been waiting for. If you say no, you'll be poor forever. You'll die alone. This opportunity will never come again. Don't be a fool, take it." It will rationalize, bargain, and paint terrifying pictures of what will happen if you say no. Your body will reject the lie, manifesting it as tension, headaches, a sour stomach, or a crushing fatigue when you contemplate saying yes. Meanwhile, your soul will remain silent but firm. Its no will not be a shout, but a profound, unmoving stillness, a physical reality in your body. The world will unanimously applaud you for taking it. Your family and friends will tell you it's a no-brainer. Every external metric of success will validate this choice. Only you will feel it. Only you will feel the subtle, sickening knot in your solar plexus. Only you will hear the quiet but insistent no from your soul. The choice to accept will feel like putting on a beautiful, expensive suit that is just one size too small. It looks good on the outside, but you can't breathe properly on the inside. The gilded cage is lined with velvet, but the bars are cold, hard steel. The air within it is stale, recycled, devoid of the prana, the life force, that your soul requires to thrive. To accept it is to agree to a slow, comfortable spiritual death. This is the moment of truth. Do you trust the invisible blueprint, or do you take the visible, tangible, but ultimately limiting prize? To pass this test, you must be willing to say no to the good in order to hold the sacred space for the divine. You must be willing to look foolish, ungrateful, and irrational in the eyes of the world. This act of refusal is not a rejection of success, it is a profound declaration of your ultimate worth. It is you looking the universe in the eye and stating, unequivocally, that you will not settle. The moment you make that refusal, you will feel a cosmic click. Your entire energetic signature will shift. You radiate a new authority that commands respect from both the seen and unseen realms. This test is your graduation exam from the school of the Matrix. By passing it, you prove you are no longer a student of the system, but a master of your own reality. And in the space created by your refusal, the true, divinely orchestrated opportunity, the one that is 100 times grander and more aligned than the test offer, will rush in to meet you. Chapter 7. The Great Vindication. This is the moment of apotheosis. This is the final scene of the old story and the explosive opening of the new. This is the culmination of every trial, every tear, every betrayal, and every silent, solitary act of faith. The Great Vindication is not just a win, it is a paradigm shift made manifest in your life. It is the public, undeniable, and spectacular materialization of the untraceable blueprint. It is the moment when the world that doubted you, dismissed you, judged you, and misunderstood you is forced to witness the irrefutable, blinding truth of who you are and what you were chosen to do. This victory will not be small or incremental. It will be sudden, stunning, and seemingly impossible by all conventional standards of reality. It will appear to come out of nowhere because its foundations were built in the unseen realms of spirit, according to a divine architecture they could not read. It will defy all known processes of the world, skipping the step-by-step ladder of success that everyone else is forced to climb and resulting in a sudden appearance at the top. This is the book deal that comes after 1,000 rejections, but for a sum that changes the industry. This is the business that explodes onto the scene, not through marketing, but through a pure, magnetic, energetic pull. This is the healing that defies medical prognosis. This is the justice that arrives after all hope was lost, rewriting the entire historical narrative in your favor. The defining characteristic of this vindication is that you will not have to say a single word to explain it, defend it, or justify it. Your success will be the explanation. Your radiant joy will be the verdict. Your unshakable peace will be the final, unanswerable argument. The inner state you will occupy during this time will not be one of glee or arrogance, but one of profound, humbling stillness. It is a quiet awe at the perfection of the divine plan, an overwhelming feeling of gratitude, not pride. The world sees a lucky break. Only you know the decades of silent work that went into it. Only you know the nights of despair, the moments of surrender, the constant, lonely choice to keep faith in the unseen. The very people who once offered you their unsolicited, limiting advice will fall silent, their logic shattered by your results. The ones who whispered behind your back will now speak your name with a sense of awe. Some will be inspired, some will be confused, and a small few will be consumed by a jealousy so intense it exposes their own spiritual poverty. You will feel a detached compassion for all of them. This moment is not for them. This great vindication is for you. It is the universe looking you in the eyes and saying, you were right to trust. You were right to hold on. You were right to believe in what you could not yet see. This is your reward. Your vindication is a broadcast. It sends a permission slip into the collective consciousness, demonstrating what is possible when one aligns fully with their divine blueprint. It cracks the foundation of limitation for everyone who witnesses it. You become a living testament, a walking portal to a higher possibility, and your very presence begins to recalibrate the world around you, not through effort, but through being. It is a powerful re-anchoring of divine law on this planet. Your success becomes an undeniable data point proving that reality operates on a higher set of principles than the system admits. It is a victory not just for you, but for the truth itself, broadcast for all to see. You will experience this as a profound wave of peace washing over you, a deep, cellular knowing that everything has fallen into its perfect and divine place. The struggles of the past will not be forgotten, but they will be integrated and understood as the necessary, sacred pressure that created this flawless diamond. You will look back at your journey with a sacred reverence for the benevolent intelligence that guided it all. Your biggest win is not just an event, it is an arrival. It is you stepping fully and permanently into the authority and creative power that were your birthright all along. And this arrival is not a destination at which to rest, it is the true starting line for your real work in this world, now fully equipped, fully funded, and divinely authorized.